elasticity video number 2. Okay, so when we go through and look at elasticities, there's 4 types of elasticities. There's elasticity of demand, and there's elasticity of supply, and these can use the same chart, 1, 0 to infinity, because we take the absolute value of the elasticity of demand, so we get a positive number. And if we took and found elasticities on a supply curve, we would get a positive number. So basically, for those, we can use the same chart. There's also an income elasticity, which we use a Y for income, and that goes back to your macroeconomics where Y was GDP. And elasticity of X and Y, where X and Y are different products. So the Y is used differently there. Okay, now let's talk about income elasticity. Okay, income elasticity. In this case, do you remember before when we found the elasticity, we actually looked at the percentage change in the quantity, and we divided by the percentage change in the price. Well, this time, we're going to divide by the percentage change in the income. That's useful for determining whether we have, do you remember when we were talking about demand for goods, and we said what changes demand, and one was income. And then income impacts the demand depending upon whether it's an inferior or a normal good. You remember that? So income elasticity is going to tell us if it's inferior or normal. So a negative value means it's inferior. A plus means it's normal. And a larger plus amount, say larger than 1, means we're heading towards the luxury. Okay? So your income elasticity is used for determining if it's an inferior or a normal good. Normal goods have positive relation to income. So when income goes up, the quantity we consume goes up normally, right, on a normal good. Except things like ramen, the inferior goods. Okay? And so you might think to yourself, well, that's ridiculous, we can tell. Well, you can't. You can't tell about everything. And it's useful for marketing firms. So those of you that are marketing majors and you're thinking, hey, I'll never use this stuff ever again. Well, guess what? On your job, you will often, if you work for a company that with enough of a budget for marketing, they will buy these marketing studies of different products, and you can tell basically, is this item that we're selling a luxury good, and or is it just a necessity, or is it an inferior good? and your competitors as well. You can tell a lot about who they're marketing to, and who you should market towards, by looking at income elasticities. So income elasticities can be provided by marketing and economic data firms. And there's a lot you can learn, because you may not even realize what products are being seen as upward and trendy and, luxury, and which things are just things you have to have. Like, for example, Ivory soap. When we were talking about products and marketing ages and ages and ages ago, I remember learning about how Ivory soap had reached its maturity as a product, 50 years ago or something. And it's soap. It's not glamorous. They don't even advertise it. If they do, it's coupons or something. I have not seen ads for Ivory soap. If you have, let me know. But I've not seen advertisements for Ivory soap. And I haven't seen them since before I took a class decades ago. Just the bars. Now, they may be advertising their Ivory soft soap body wash and all that, but I'm talking about those bars of Ivory soap. It's a mature product, and it is basically a normal good, but it's also very barely normal good in the sense that it's not a luxury item, and they can sell it cheap. They don't advertise anymore, but we all recognize it, right? So income elasticities are a useful thing. So let's look at how we would calculate them. We're not going to have a graph normally. So normally you'll have a word problem that says when income of so-and-so went up by, let's change that. Went from one level to another, let's say 21 to 43. Okay, that's a 3. Okay, try again. 43. Then quantity consumed went from 12 to 10. Okay. So it would be a word problem like that. So you're going to have to basically do the same thing as before, but you're going to have to identify, okay, the first one's A, the second one's B. First one's A, the second one's B, and then you can plug it into the percentage change formula. Percentage change in quantity equals quantity B minus quantity A over average quantity divided by oops, I got price there and it's income. Okay, so we're going to just say we'll put income there. We could have done Y, but I'll use income. I for income here. IB minus IA over average I. So you would work it just like we did with the prices. You got that? And then, of course, you may have noticed that this one is going down when this one's going up. And so we're going to get a negative result. So if you get a negative result, your answer is it's inferior. Okay? Let's see. Another thing you need to know about is the cross elasticities. Oh, I wanted to mention one more thing about the income elasticities. those are often very useful if you know where to look them up, or you're much into investment, because when the economy is going down and people are losing their jobs, certain stocks are going to go up. There are companies that produce the inferior good, and they're going to gain when we have a downturn. And vice versa. Normal and luxury goods, they're going to go up when we have an upturn, when we have income going up. So those income elasticities are useful to know what items to invest in. So you can make money if you pay attention. I think that's the thing I like about economics and finance, is that it's a subject that if you're good at, you can make money, or at the very least, you can avoid losing money when other people make money. Did I say that backwards? When other people lose money. Okay. Let me try again. Let me give you an example. We had a downturn in the economy. We've had a couple in my not just downturns in the economy, downturns in the stock market in my career. And so many times, and I'm not putting down liberal arts professors, I'm just saying that the majority that I have known have not understood the stock market very well. That does not mean that all people who don't teach business are bad on the stock market. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've had this experience where I've gone to university-wide faculty meetings, and lo and behold, the stock market has collapsed, and I've got people saying, "Oh my gosh, oh my portfolio, oh no, my retirement fund, oh," and I've just thought to myself, "Oh, really?" Mine's going up. So, I almost studied history because I like it, and I almost studied political science because I like it. But I like the fact that I'm really good at economics, and it's helped my portfolio, my retirement fund, many times. I'm not saying we can always avoid all downturns, but the more you know, the better your investments are. Okay, back to cross elasticities. Cross elasticities, this goes back to when we talked about things that change demand. Remember that? And we went through all the things that change demand. Right. So, change demand, do you remember price of a related good? Some goods are consumed with each other. Some are consumed instead of each other. So why would we give a hoot? Why would we give a hoot? Why would we care which goods are related to each other and which goods are substitutes? Well, if you're a marketer, it can be very useful to know what goods are being consumed with your product, or what goods are being consumed instead of your product. In other words, who's the enemy? Who's our competition? We got to go after these people, right? We got to go after that product. We've got to beat it in the market because it's a substitute. This can help you to put together a useful marketing campaign, because you might not realize that people who consume your product also are computer gamers and like to ski. I'm making this stuff up, but there are things. Let's say you sell Axe, the men's good smelling stuff, right? Okay, so you're selling Axe male deodorant products, right? Or whatever. Where do you advertise? It might surprise you to find out that archery magazines are useful, or because there are things that are consumed with it. I mean, and sometimes things are used for ulterior purposes. like Sudafed. You're selling Sudafed. So, why is my product, going to sell well if I put it in a magazine for drugs or something? I mean, that's a big exaggeration, and we all know Sudafed can be used to make meth. But I'm just kind of giving you an idea, that you're selling something. Do you know who's maybe people are putting it to an alternative use, and you didn't even know that, your let's say you're selling something like chapstick, and people are using it for greasing their motorcycles or something. I don't know. I'm just making an exaggerated example. So you don't even know that you could advertise it in a biker magazine or something. So cross elasticities are useful. It might turn out that people who play violins also consume your product, and you didn't even know it. And so you can advertise there. I think it's always interesting when I'm on Amazon and I look at the part where it says people who bought this product also bought that. And it's fascinating how I can find things that I really like in that list, because apparently people that like certain things like other things. And cross elasticities can tell you a lot. If some other good becomes too expensive, we might buy more of something else. And you might not realize that there's a relationship there unless you understand that there are companies out there that collect these cross elasticities on everything. And so if you sell something, you can buy their study of everything's relationship to your product. And it might surprise you. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. So our cross elasticity, we're going to have product X and product Y is going to be the percentage change in the quantity of product X when the price of product Y changes. Okay? That's not bad. So you're going to do the percentage change in Y. The percentage change in the price of Y, and you're going to look at the percentage change in quantity. And in this case, let's do this. That's an arrow, not a equal to or greater than. In this case, we're trying to find out whether something is a complement or a substitute. Okay? So negative or positive, you're going to have to think it out. Okay? So if the price of Pepsi goes up, Pepsi goes up, the demand for Coke goes up, right? So they're positively related. I'm putting Pepsi and Coke there because I'm saying they're substitutes, and most people would probably say, yeah, they're, if I'm eating out and I want a Pepsi and they say, is Coke okay? Yeah, fine. Some people won't say that, but I'm using them as substitutes here. Okay, so if I think they're substitutes and Pepsi's more expensive, I buy more Coke, right? So they're both going up. So substitutes will have a positive relationship, a positive elasticity. Notice that in elasticities and cross elasticities, we do use the minus sign. It's only on that demand elasticity we learned in the first lecture. Okay, only demand elasticities do we just use the absolute value. So if substitutes are positive, then complements are negative. Okay? So how would we solve one of these? Again, it would be something like this. When so-and-so's income fell by, and we could either have it go from one number to another, where you actually have to find the percentage change, or what if I just say it falls by 10%? Oh, wait a minute, I'm doing income. Sorry. When price falls by 10%. Or I could have done, falls from 10 to 9 or something. In that case, you'd have to calculate it. But if you already have the change, the percentage change, this is the percentage change in the price of Y. Okay? Remember, we're doing this thing. Okay? Okay. So in that case, we've already got the minus 10% or minus 0.10, right? And the top, we would say then quantity of A, let's say it goes up. We could, if I said by a certain amount, then this is just -2, right? What if I said that instead of actually giving you this 20%, instead of giving you that 20% increase, what if I had done this? What if I had said falls from 10 to 9, and this one was increases from 12 to 13. Okay? In this case, then it wouldn't be so easy because I didn't give you the percentage change, so you wouldn't be able to do it quite so easily. But again, this would be quantity of X, wouldn't it? Not quantity A. Okay? So you've got the price of Y so I'm going to just label this one B and this one A and this one B and this one A. You got the price of Y and the quantity of X. So the quantity goes on top, and to find that percentage change, we're going to take quantity B minus quantity A over average quantity. And we're going to find the prices. Now that's of another product, right? So this is the Coke and Pepsi or Coke and ice cream or whatever. So the price of the other product is going to go from 10, we're going to do price B minus price A over average price. So putting numbers in here then, the quantities are going from 12 minus 13 over what? 12.5. And the prices are 10 minus 9 over 9.5, right? Okay, so simplifying this, we get what? Minus 1 over 12.5 divided by 1 over 9.5. And then you've got a fraction over fraction. So when you got a fraction divided by a fraction, you invert and multiply. Remember that? And so you'll solve it and you'll get a negative. The degree of the substitute or complement effect is stronger if you have a larger number. So if you have a number really close to 0, it's not a strong effect. If you have a number that's relatively large relative to other numbers, then it's a stronger effect. So negative means that these things are complements. Okay? All right. So I'm going to see you in class. Hopefully you've been doing your work. Be ready for class. I'll see you then.